What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. Boozer here. Today's video we're going to go over the current fusion that's going on. I'm going to talk about my strategy and how potentially I could miss this fusion, but it's mostly based on my personal obligations. Let's just jump right into it. Alright, so you see here the summoning portal, we have this brand new fusion dwarf called GNUT. I think the G is silent, so I'm just calling him Nut. It looks kind of plain, but don't be mistaken, his kit is actually very strong. And from playtesting that I've seen, he is going to be a must-do fusion for sure if you guys are on the fence. And I would advise that you guys definitely jump on this fusion if possible. It is a bit of a harder style fusion because it requires more resources, but I think this guy's gonna be worth it. He has a triple hit, triple decrease turn meter, or triple freeze. Basically, this is a hard Fire Knight or regular Fire Knight skill. It's perfect. It's on an A1. It's a lot different than the other freeze champions that were hyped up for hard Fire Knight, because this one's actually on an A1 and it's a triple hit, which makes it extremely good. Compared to somebody like Allure, which only does the turn meter part, this one has the freeze placing as well if the turn meter fails. His A2 is an AoE, places decreased attack and weaken, places counterattack on himself. I mean, this is just a really good skill. It's a 3-turn cooldown. It's great for like Hydra. He can be a mischief tank. I mean, generally good in waves. And then he has this huge move here, 4-turn cooldown, triple hit. It's stacks decrease target defense, so it goes up to 30%, and it has a heal on himself, and each hit is actually based on enemy max HP, so he actually hits super hard on bosses, and it's a triple hit. For Hydra, for example, he won't be as strong as, like, let's say like a Roll Guard slam, where Roll Guard basically connects max HP damage on 4 heads. But I believe Nut has the same multiplier as Roll Guard, but only a triple hit. So he'll hit 3/4 of what Roll Guard hits. But of course he brings like AoE, decrease attack, and weaken. This one won't be relevant for Hydra, but he has this really strong move here. And of course he can be a mischief tank as well with his self counterattack stuff. So, I mean, and he's defense based, so he's going to be a lot more survivable than somebody like Roll Guard. Yeah, I mean, anyways, he's super good, and I think you guys should definitely go for him. Let's jump into the fusion. So this is what the fusion looks like. You have to collect the 4 rares into the epics, 4 epics up to 50, fully ascend them, and then they fuse into Nut. Just over 2 weeks to complete this, which is pretty standard. So we're looking at a lot of force potions. If you guys can swing that, make sure you guys are aware. And then there's a couple tricky things that are going on with the calendar, and I'll go over that right now. Let's pull that up. All right, so this is the calendar. Let's work on this together. So right now is day 1. So this is day 1. Artifact enhancement and spider event with the champ training. Obviously not the best event, spider champ training. You can do it with Artac. I recently created a dual and solo build for Artac that can do spider with food. Make sure you guys check out my endgame Artac build video if you guys haven't seen it yet. But that kind of gives you an idea of what can be done. But that's day 1, not really much going on. On this day, day 2, this one's going to be probably the big one, where Dungeon Divers opens up, allowing you to double dip with the spider tournament and the training tournament if you guys want to. Keep in mind, this is kind of like a weird calendar schedule because it starts like early in the week. This is when CVC starts, so CVC will be starting on Tuesday and Wednesday, and it lines up nicely with the spider tournament, which lines up nicely with the Dungeon Diver. So in the beginning, it's actually not too bad. This is probably where you'll be spending your energy. Wednesday, it's more of the same. CVC is still active, spider is still active, dungeon tournament is still active. And then, like I said, if you're using Artac to solo or dual hard spider, then you can still produce some training. If not, you're going to leave the training for these remaining days. It's a 5-day training event. So yeah, keep that in mind. Thursday, you're finishing off the artifact, the spider, probably the dungeon, and then you can mix in some dragon in there as well to help with the training, as well as the dungeon diver. So I would say the first week, Monday to Friday, isn't actually too bad. Friday, a bit of a lull. You'll still be doing the dragon tournament, which ends up with the end of dungeon diver event, and then you have the arena, which doesn't really matter too much. Another artifact enhancement event. So each one of these events, I would budget 20 million for the artifact enhancement. Prices have been going up. You never know what player is going to do, so I would budget at least 20 million if possible. And then Dragon Tournament will line up with the next Dungeon Divers. You'll be spending energy here, most likely. This is the big one, because Dungeon Divers is not fully covered by one tournament event from a dungeon. So if you get the rare from the Dragon Tournament, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll have enough to get the rare from the Dungeon Diver, just to let you guys know. So here is where it gets kind of interesting. You have the Summon Rush right here. You do have an epic up for grabs. If you get this epic, you get -4 events of your choosing that are not these events. These events you must do. These events you must do, because they're lined up with this Void Legendary. You have to do it. But if you get this Void, if you get this Epic, you can remove 4 events. So if you're planning on getting the Epic here, personally I would remove some of the more intensive ones to do. So mainly it would be Dungeon Divers and maybe Champion Training. The other ones like Ice Golem, Fire Knight, like they're all very doable with just regular energy. But the big ones that will require extra energy or extra effort will be the Dungeon Divers and the Champion Training. Keep in mind that even though you get the Epic here from the Summon Rush, it does not mean you get to skip the Champion Chase. You will have to do the Champion Chase regardless, because it lines up with the Void Epic here. Another thing to note, if you cannot get the Epic from the Summon Rush, that means you cannot skip any event. So that's probably the biggest thing. You cannot skip any event. You will need every single one to complete this fusion. So those are probably the big things that you have to make a decision on, whether you want to do the Epic on the Summon Rush and then skip 4 events. And make sure you have enough resources to lead you to the end of this fusion, because you have to complete everything. So Summon Rush pops out, and then you have Champion Training. That's kind of good because you can train up the food that you summon. Another big tip here is I would summon as many mystery shards as you can for the Summon Rush. I know mystery shards have better value for a champ chase. However, if you can get the rares from this, if you can pull any rares from the mystery shards, it'll definitely help you prepare a little bit more for the rest of the fusion. Just, I guess, like a little bit of a tip. Obviously you don't have to. Pulling mysteries is a pain in the butt, right? Okay, and then you got Champion Training. It lines up with Ice Golem, so if you can solo farm Ice Golem with food, that's going to be double dipping. And then you have Dungeon Divers to end the Ice Golem here with the training. So it'll be hard to complete this Dungeon Diver, so you'll be looking at Fire Knight to finish it off. You'll be doing the tail end of Ice Golem with the Dungeon Divers, and then Fire Knight will finish off the Dungeon Diver here. Artifact enhancement again. So you got 3 artifact enhancements. You got to be prepared for that. Like I said, 20 mil each. And then this Champion Chase is going to be the make or break for everybody. Obviously you can prep by having things like Broad Maul fusions ready, or other fusion pieces like Rosin. You could save all your epics for NUT. So all your NUT epics you can save until this Champion Chase. So if you can save these guys for a Champion Chase, you get some extra points that way. And you could even, if you're done, you can summon NUT for extra 500 points as well for your Champion Chase, if you so please. Keep in mind that a CVC will happen on this day. So CVC is happening on Tuesday, Wednesday, which is probably the end of the GNUT Fusion. So you can still pull GNUT on these 2 days and get some extra points on CVC, which is kind of nice. Or you can pull GNUT in this champion chase and get 500 points for a legendary, which is also very good as well. Keep in mind right here is going to be 2x sacreds. So you got 2x sacreds with the champ chase. It's not ideal because champ chase is best for low value shards, so like mystery and ancients, because then you can high roll up. Big value shards like sacreds can only low roll down, which gives you less points than it would for, like, let's say a summon rush, for example. For me personally, I'm only going to be pulling sacreds for the summon rush. Probably going to take 10, I would say 10 sacreds to get the epic. That's what I'm prepared to do. Get 10, pull 10 to get the epic. For champ chase, I'm probably going to try my best to do fusion pieces and get the 2500 as painlessly as possible with as little shards as possible. So that's going to be my plan. I do have a couple hiccups in this plan because I will be away for 2 days at the end of the week, which kind of put the fusion in jeopardy a little bit. So I will be away I will be away these 2 days, Thursday and Friday, which maybe puts the fusion in jeopardy slightly, but I will prepare to have the dungeon diver finished, and I will prepare my summon rush to be pulled on the weekend as opposed to Friday. And then I think it should be okay. It's only a small little bump, but as long as I can finish off this dungeon diver without bleeding into Thursday, then it should be all good. With that said, if you guys have any questions about this fusion plan or the markup that I have here, let me know in the comments below. I just want to let you guys know what my plan was. So I will be going for the epic. I'm prepared to pull 10 sacreds for it, and then my preferred 4 skip. So my preferred 4 skip, tell you guys right now, is you can't skip any of these yellow ones in the middle for this champion. You can't skip any of those. So my preferred skips would probably be this dungeon diver, this training event, so that's 1, 2, and then after that it might even just be this dungeon event, so that's 3, and then the last one could be anything, like maybe like, I don't know, artifact enhancement. Yeah, it could be something like that, but these big 3 I think I'm probably gonna skip. So the 2 dungeon divers and the champ training event. So that's gonna be my plan. It also, yeah, so that's gonna help me out when I'll be away later this week as well. But yeah, anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. What are you guys doing for this fusion? Are you guys going for it? Seems like a no-brainer to go for it. It's gonna be a great hard Fire Knight champion as well as a Hydra champion as well. So anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.